destroying the domes. They
Understand what's
must
going on.
be stopped.
So these are like tank mobs,
With our
these scavengers.
defenses down,
These
there is
mites,
nothing
they
to keep the
are
devourers
casting all the
out.
time, and
Might
they're very similar
stand
to
no chance.
mobs in Floodgate. When they die, they apply like big debuff on the whole group. And every time they get a cast off, they get a stack that makes that debuff do more damage. So it's pretty important to interrupt those. Big guy, he does like a spread mechanic. If you get a circle on you, just don't hit your teammates with it. And then he does a line. You stand still with it, you press a personal. It does a lot of damage in a high key, but lower levels doesn't really do too much. And then you have the Gorger here, this big boy. He does a AoE smash as well. Does damage to the whole group. You can outrange the line. Yeah, I thought about that as well. Outranging the line like similar to the Bazooka in Cinderbrew. But this pack also has mobs that leaps out. Bit annoying, I guess. God. Also need to fix my big wigs. A lot of random sounds right now. It's strange hearing Anna's from Overwatch.
From the annex.
Is this Anna?
Look out! Some stop
I
them
mean, they're
at the
both
source,
Blizzard companies,
so we can
right? So it
return
kind of
our
makes sense
attention
they're
to Source
using
Tribe.
same voice actors. So this boss fight, you have ad spawns. You want to stack up because they keep leaping on people.
Ads.
You just want to cleave them down. This debuff circle, you actually don't need to spread with it. It doesn't do initial damage when it lands. So you can put it on top of each other and then sidestep. If you stand in those, you obviously take damage. But these podlets also slow the mobs in an intermission that comes later.
Drop.
Like, see here, I'll stack on this guy. And then we sidestep. Nothing happens, right? Like, you don't like take extra damage or anything. But you get a debuff afterwards that hurts. So that's what you need to be careful for. The debuff you get once the circle lands. So like it's more like a rot debuff damage. And it's only people that are targeted by the circle that gets this. So hitting your teammates doesn't mean that other people get the debuff either. This is the intermission here. The boss will suck you in. If you hit the inner circle yourself, you die. So don't go in. If these ads here, they reach the boss heals. And the boss gets a damage increase as well. I'm gonna kill these ads for sure. And if you don't make it in time, yeah, you can see. So the boss got 2 stacks and he also healed a bit. I didn't really get any help on the far ads there.
Ads.
So now
Ads.
the 2 people that gets the debuff now will take a bit extra damage because the boss does 30% increase, right? I'm just gonna ice cold here. Make it easy for the healer to heal the warrior. He's fucking dying hard. Even I was dying hard for ice cold. Okay, now it's over. What dungeon is this? This is the new dungeon, the Echo Dome.
It's calling more in.
Ads.
And you just stack up here, cleave these
Drop.
down. Another thing as well is if the boss goes into an intermission before these ads are dead, these ads will also get eaten by the boss.
Intermission.
It's trying
So
to
you're
draw
on a
you
little
in.
bit of a DPS check to finish them off.
Intermission.
They're going for the far ones. These ads can also be controlled and slowed and whatnot. Feel free to do that as well. Like slow them, kill them. And the boss also does AoE during this devour. So yeah, press some personals and division. Oh, did we make it? Fuck. Okay, the boss got 3 stacks. Okay, yeah. Not ideal, but
It's calling more in.
maybe fine.
Ads.
This debuff is gonna hurt a lot. So I'm just gonna be using my barrier all the time. The mass barrier as well. Take 2 more ticks. Also back up. Okay, we're good. Yeah, could have done a bit more intermission damage, but like, these ads should die. So like, ours went through both times. Not good.
It's calling more in.
There's a strat on the first boss where like you put them close to the boss, like the circles under the boss.
Drop.
So the puddles are covering like an area around the boss, which means
We
that
can return
because
to the
you
real
stepping into the
problem.
poop is obviously bad because you take a lot of damage, but if they're in a circle around the boss, when the ads that are trying to reach the boss get close, then they get slowed from all angles, but without you having to, you know, step in them. So that's a good way of doing it. Just like I said, the pools also slow the ads. With these ads, you have these fast stalkers here, which does 1 AoE cast on the whole group if it goes off. That's a long cooldown. You just need 1 person to interrupt. And they also leap. You see beautiful Kira Uyghur made here. And if you AoE stop those, they recast. So the best way of dealing with these is to like just assign 1 person to interrupt these. If you have a Vengeance Demon Hunter, you can link them all up so they cast at the same time, right? Using a few AoE stops. And when they're all casting, you send a silence rune. And now they will all go on cooldown. That's a good way of doing it. And that this caster here, he just permanently casts. You just need to interrupt that, rotate kicks, and then he applies a debuff on a random target, and it's a full copy-paste of the Pyromaniacs in Cinderbrew. It's a circle that pulses damage on the target that has debuff, but it can be dispelled. It's a magic dispel. And the faceplates here, they also apply a buff to themselves. So if you're someone that can purge, like a priest with master spell, you can help the tank by removing that. So it reduces tank damage. And these Rune Stalkers here, they copy paste off floodgates, inspector mobs. They just leap out and do a frontal. So yeah, a lot of like the mobs that have very similar mechanics to current season. This big guy here, this frontal, like a tank frontal, when he reaches 50% HP, starts doing a lot of damage to the whole group, and he puts pools on the ground of like affected targets. So very good to have a lot of, you see how much damage I'm taking. I send my cooldowns instantly, but like it helps a lot if you maybe save strong cooldowns for when the shield breaks. So you don't need too much damage from the first 50%, but when the absorb shield breaks, so the last 50, that's when you want to pump him, just to make it safer.
They have brought so many. They seek the complete annihilation of this place.
In this pack, there's no mobs we haven't seen earlier. Just the leap mobs, the fast stalkers that leap on people, that requires 1 interrupt once in a while, and the guy that applies the debuff on 1 person and permanently casts. Yeah, the leap does a lot of damage. think there was talk yesterday about that you cannot get left twice in a row. So if you got, I think that was fake from what I just saw here, right? I think I got the same guy leaving me twice in a row. That might have been fake news. Yeah, it's definitely fake news, guys. There's definitely fake news. But maybe you can bait it on someone. Maybe it's some proximity or something. Like if everyone's a melee and one guy's outside, will it always leave the same guy? That could be interesting. Could be something that you could play around if it works like that. You have a strong player, because I imagine that this is probably physical. I can check. So a range class that has a lot of armor, like a Moonkin. If it is physical, of course. Pretty good to deal with leaps like that. And also vortex them. Maybe do a well-timed supernova. Let's see. So wait for this blue to leap, and then we supernova on the right timing. Okay. Timer was a little bit off. I think it's because they have like some mobs are designed in a way where they cannot leap at the same time. There's a lot of mechanics like that nowadays, where Blizzard made it so that they're not casting the ability like all at once. They're like staggering them a few seconds in between each cast. This could be one of them. But this is gonna go up. New dungeon, maybe? Yeah, maybe the new dungeons are coming out in a few minutes. Okay, here, now we have pot, all coolant, the last 50%. Guy will die hard now. I'm gonna pre-alter in case I get the debuff.
Your pursuit
I need to
is
move.
pointless.
I can't take this alter yet.
Zalhatar lives. My oath stand. This place full.
Yeah, that was the tank frontal, so the tank frontal can also be aimed
All of this
like away.
destruction for the traitor?
Be a tank player, that's good to think about. Try and put the frontal in a good position. A lot of casters here. Probably kill off the low HP ones so we don't have to deal with too many casts. That's always something, like when you're pugging. I feel like number one thing you wipe to is honestly just like casts going off left, right. Because it's so hard to coordinate interrupts with people, right? When you're not talking. You don't have pre-planned assignments and whatnot. So that's why I recommend in general, like, there's like a mob that's really annoying to deal with. Focus it. Go into the pack and just like send all your damage into that target. Just to get rid of it. Just to increase the success rate of the puck groups. And knowing what those mobs are is, of course, kind of crucial, right? In these polls, I think... if you kill the ritualist, it frees up a lot of kicks, right? So that you can kick the Farstalkers. But if there's too many Farstalkers, it's also making sure that everyone interrupts a different target each. It's also a bit difficult, so they're also not bad targets to hit. Okay, now second boss.
No time for this. Tarbot, be certain they follow no
The
further.
legendary cloak you're gonna get from
rid of him.
doing the campaign.
No prey
The new zone.
escapes me. You will not even
And
touch
Bloodlust there. Okay, so first mechanic is the Javelin. It's very similar to the boss in Metrosil, the first one.
your
So you don't want to be stacked, but when you're inside of this, you cannot leave the circle, and it does a lot of damage to you. Like, so make sure you hit these immediately. This warp strike, you just face away from the raid. Make sure you don't hit other people.
claws of caress.
Now he goes into the intermission. The boss is going to be immune to damage here.
Untouchable.
You see here he takes way less damage. And you need to break his shield by hitting these lines on the shield but you don't want to hit each other's teammates with the lines either. So you can see here that you want to go staggered. So the shaman goes in, the warlock goes in now, and then the DH goes in, and then you break the shield. The reason why you don't want to go in together is because every time you get hit by this line, you get a debuff, and you can get the debuff from your teammates as well. So that's why it's important to like go in and then go out and dodge the line. And after this, when the intermission is over, there's 2 target cleave for a little while. The guy jumps off his mount, and both him and his mount are stunned for a few seconds. There's no damage increase, but they have shared HP, so you have 2 target cleave for a little bit. And it's recommended to hit not the guy that jumps off the mount, but the pet or the mount instead, because the guy jumps back up on the mount, which means that if you have any class that have lingering dots or ramp on your main target, you would have to target swap after that. So just hitting the mount is better.
Strip your bones.
Yeah, this warp strike as well. If you get targeted by this warp strike while you're in the javelin, that is very dangerous. That is when you need to press a really strong personal. That's a spicy combo.
Untouchable, unreachable.
This guy has
Not me. Claws of caress.
Well, classes are looking strong on PTR. I mean, a lot of classes are, of course, gonna get changed and whatnot. Like, it's too early to say what will be the meta, but a few classes that's also bugged. But the very high performing specs are Hunter, Moonkin, Mage is also really good. Shaman is also really good. Even Havoc is really good. I mean, there's a lot of classes, guys, that are performing quite decently. So I'd just say wait a bit until there's more tuning, until more of the issues with the bugs and whatnot are fixed, before like we can look at any of these things. It's a bit too early. Okay, so same mobs as before. These are the debuff mobs, right? 2 of those casters, and then you have these elementals. These elementals, they give an absorb shield to a friendly target. And they have I think it's around 15-second cooldown. You can see it on the cooldown nameplate to the right of it whenever they cast it. And they also permanently recast this unless you interrupt it. But it can be purged as well. So again, you're someone that can purge. Great idea to purge. You see here, mage, I'm purging it. But this is actually not one of those cool things you can gain as a mage on. You know, sometimes you have in different dungeons and different seasons, you have a big absorb shield you can just take. Like in Fiat of Pain is one of those this season. You don't get this shield, it just goes away as a normal purge. So no cool cheese here for mage. Okay, you have these creepers. These fuck the tank quite hard with this gloom bite. These are pretty dangerous mobs, and then yeah, they keep on the ground and you don't stand in that. Simple. Then you have the fast stalkers as well, and the mobs to jump out. I think in general, this is not like a super complicated dungeon mechanically. It's like if you compare it to like a priory, but so it's a bit more like you can understand what's going on. It's not overwhelming with the amount of casts and the amount of abilities that are happening. and the constant like requirement of like AoE, CC, lock down a pack for like 20, not even 20, like 50 seconds straight. Most of it's just like you assign one guy to kicking a target, and you kick that target every like 15 to 20 seconds, and then you don't have to deal with the mechanic anymore, right? Like that is how a lot of these buffs work.
You built this place on the
So
high
Jakob, thanks so much for the sub, bro. 43 months. Gentlemen.
It was the only place our plans stood a chance of success.
The Rev brought nothing but destruction! You have no right to this power!
We did fail you, but destroying the dome will only hurt Karesh.
Like, debuff actually hurts. We don't get this build. Oh yeah, one thing to notice, you see these things, if you walk on top of these guys, you will get a massive version of these creepers. And the mechanics that is also one over there, it's very similar to the gas bag in Theater of Pain. It's just worse, it does way more damage. One extra mechanic here is that if you press on this thing, you get a haste buff. 10% movement speed and haste is not really that big. And the more people that press it, the faster it builds up, right? Here's a new mob. These are the pack speakers. They are what you would say is like pretty big, chunky HP mob. And they do an AoE spell, as you can see here. It does a fuck ton of damage because we're playing 2 of them. Those are targets you want to hit and send home quickly. They also have a cast that you need to interrupt. And they also have a spirit that they spawn. While the spirit is up, they take no damage. So they have 99% damage reduction. And until the soul is dead. And the longer the soul is alive for, the bigger the absorb shield the guy gets. But that is definitely something you want to focus down quickly. Because the absorb shield that he gets is not purgeable. Target swap to the spirits immediately. We kill these last 2 packs, the last boss spawn. I think the guy's gonna grab a bit of count here. Getting the creepers as well. But what a legend. Last boss is actually, I think it's pretty good boss.
One last oath to fulfill.
So this boss does a bit of AoE damage to the group once in a while, you see here. And then it spawns a soul of yourself. When you pick up the soul, you get a damage increase, 10% damage and healing done. Now, if you don't pick up your soul in time and it gets hit by the mechanic that the boss does, you will get a debuff that reduces your haste and
Drop.
you also take a fuck ton of damage. So here, the circle spawns, you want to pick it up before the circle goes off. You can also dodge your ad with the circle and then pick it up afterwards. So you can delay it a few seconds if you want to for cooldown timing. But just make sure that the ad does not get hit by any mechanics. That is crucial. And yeah, whenever the boss removes your soul, you also take damage. So generally make sure you're top before that happens. Okay, here you have 3 souls spawning. And it's also like counterclockwise, it will always spawn. So you want to delay picking up, the souls like this, to extend your buff for as long as possible. Now you have 30% damage increase. And it's always the same rotation. Like start over here, and then you walk right. You pick it up, your soul, before the beam hits your copy.
What do your destinies offer? What do your destinies offer?
Drop.
Fate written in suffering! A vision of your fate!
I think we're gonna have some bloodlust here and execute
Intermission.
with the intermission. So again, pre-position on this side of the room, and your soul will spawn quite close. You go over here, wait a bit, play it for a while. Now we pop 30% damage increase, bloodlust, execute, cooldowns. The boss will take a lot of damage here.
A vision of your fate!
And then it's just a repeat of this.
What do your destinies offer?
Drop.
Fate written in suffering!
So there we go. That is the new dungeon
Much wasted.
coming up in the next
Also
patch.
honored
Echo
in
Dome
oath for a
Aldani.
dying treacherous king.